This is Emma. Emma likes books. Emma's books are starting to take up most of her living space, but we'll ignore that at present. She's been reading and adding to her collection of classic lit since she was 7 and will hopefully find enough of them to last her until she's 97. Sometimes people ask her, why do you have so many books? Well, she somehow turned reading into her job, but she's also turned it into her schooling, and she still just likes it as a hobby, or maybe a way of life. Maybe she has no friends. Hard to tell, really. Regardless, watching other classics collections on YouTube was how she found a lot of her favorite books, so I guess she just wants to share hers with you. But first, a word from our sponsor, because sometimes you have chatty people in the vicinity when you're trying to read, and that's just the worst. Thank you to Raycon for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Are you looking for a summer sidekick to keep you cool and grounded? Raycon's everyday earbuds are the absolute perfect accessory for summer, for the gym, if you're working out, for strolling along the beach, or for taking work calls on the go. These are Raycon's everyday earbuds and they are so cute. One of my favorite things about the earbuds is the active noise cancellation feature. I struggle to focus when there's so much noise happening everywhere outside. When I can pop these on and create like a calm environment for my ears is very reassuring. Their newest model also has a 32-hour battery life, which is wonderful, and they can pair up to 2 devices. They have vibrant colors to match the season. Personally, I got the black earbuds and then I decided to spice up the case a little bit, so I got the purple cloud case cover, which I think is so cute. Also love a good wrist strap, or I mean you can just tie that to anything. Their ergonomic design means that the earbuds fit the absolute widest range of ears available. Other earbuds I've worn have definitely hurt my ears in the past and gave me a little bit of an earache, but these are genuinely so comfortable and they provide a custom fit. I was wearing them today actually on the train into my hometown. I was feeling a little bit anxious, so I popped on a very comforting podcast that I've been listening to called The Way Out Is In, and combined with the noise cancellation on the earbuds, chef's kiss. So immersive and easy just to focus on the audio. Go to buyraycon.com/MEYT to get 15% off Raycon's best-selling everyday earbuds, brought to you by Raycon. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. You've made it back to my classics collection. I think I mentioned in the intro I haven't filmed one of these in about 5 years, so I think this is just gonna be mildly entertaining for the both of us. I hope it's mildly entertaining for you. That's always my goal. Today we're going to be going through every single classic that I own, seeing what's there. My collection has grown in 5 years, of course, and also this is gonna be good for me because yeah, I haven't been like inhaling classics at the rate that I used to. I just got a little bit, I think, burnt out on them, honestly. Like not too badly, but just when you're like forced to read them day in, day out for your degree, it can just get a little bit tiring. I have first pulled off all of the Oxford World classics. I feel like I might just get into a little bit too much detail about edition, font choices. Hopefully you'll find some recommendations, and yeah, let's just get into all of the Oxfords that I have. I took all of these off my shelf. Up there needs a real good dusting, I'll tell you what. First one I have here, these are all out of order now, is Daisy Miller by Henry James. Love Henry James. He wrote one of my favorite books of all time. In terms of the Oxfords themselves, just to like, these are them. I really do enjoy these editions. I have quite a few of them. I will say, honestly, sometimes like the font choice and font quality is not that high. Like, why is Daisy Miller smudged to the 7 hells? But in terms of like robust ability, very robust, good body. Basically, this is just like, can an all-American girl and a British dude set aside their differences and fall in love? Next we have an older version of the Oxfords. This is the Flowers of Evil. Beautiful, wonderful flower collection. Oh my god. Poetry collection. I really enjoyed this. I read this many years ago. What, after all, did make the flowers so evil? Read on to find out. We have the biggest yapper in history. We have Cicero, The Republic and the Laws. Zafloya, or The Moor by Charlotte. Is it Dacre? Do you pronounce it Dacre? I don't know. Lesbians. Venice. The Devil. Incroyable. Against Nature by Huysmans. I really want to read this because this is the book that is featured in The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, and this is one of the books, one of like the steps along the way that Dorian reads as he descends into like his mega-minded depravity and times of hedonism. I just really want to get to this. I have 3 Tolstoys in the Oxford. We have Resurrection, which is my least favorite Tolstoy. I'm so sorry. And we have the Kreutzer Sonata. Finally, Chunk Alert. We have War and Peace. Filming this like reading vlog, which is still on my channel, was honestly like one of the highlights of anything I've ever done. I just had like the best time of my life filming the War and Peace reading vlog. War and Peace is probably Like, I think that's my personal favorite Tolstoy. I also have 2 Jane Austen. I have Persuasion in the older world classic. This one is falling apart, but this is the Jane Austen that I most recently read. Not a Janey favorite for me, honestly. I also have Northanger Abbey, and this one comes with Lady Susan, the Watsons, and Sanditon. Northanger Abbey is also not a fave Jane Austen. You know what? I'm gonna put my ladle in the soup pot right now. Jane Austen is not a favorite author of mine. Don't get me wrong, I love her. I appreciate her so much, but I don't really gravitate towards her novels. I read most of them by now. Big chunk is over here. We have Lord Byron, the major works. I bought this at a time when I was really wanting to get into Lord Byron, aka George Gordon. He really sounds like a superhero name. Have not gotten around to obviously that whole thing. David Hume, Inquiry Concerning Human Understanding. Haven't understood a single thing in here because I haven't read it. This reaches the stark conclusion that we can have no ultimate understanding of the physical world or indeed our own minds. I have 2 Thomas Hardy's in these editions. I have The Return of the Native, and I also have Jude the Obscure. I have not read Jude the Obscure because I don't want to be miserable for the rest of my life, because I've heard that's like gutting, soul gutting. It will take your soul, put it up for sale. Livy, The Rise of Rome, books 1 to 5. I really appreciate this cover because this is also my best attempt at drawing a horse. I'm in love with Roman mosaics. I really like Roman mosaics. Look how silly they are, but also so beautiful. There's a piece of Roman history dating, I think he starts with like the mythological foundations of Rome, about things in his contemporary age when he was, is it under Augustus? 9 BC? 9 BC, yes. I have the Quran in the Oxford World Classics edition, and I also have the King James edition of the Bible. This is this guy right here. This is my currently reading pile, so I'm currently reading the Bible, but I have both of those. And then we have a discourse on the method. This is by Dickens. I have read this. The Monk by Matthew Lewis. What? Like, this feels like, these are kind of the last of the Oxfords. Shirley by Charlotte Bronte. Something that I do like about this edition is that they like wear really well. The more loved that they get, the like softer and nicer they get. I don't know. And they just start to smell so great. Like, I think once you have an Oxford hanging around for a few years and you've read it, and it just, I don't know, I really like how these age. They age like fine wine. Then we have Seneca, 6 Tragedies. Shocked because I haven't read it. I have 2 from Zola. I have the Masterpiece, and I also have the one that I've read from the 2 that I own, and that's The Lady's Paradise. I love this. I read this last year. One of my favorite books of the year. This is about the development of the modern day department store in Paris. I like ate this up. I think this was so cool. If you want descriptions about like textiles and architecture and goods and products and capitalism, I love this. I love this so much, and this makes me so excited to get to more Zola. So those are all the Oxfords that I have here, but I have a huge like pile of Charles Dickens to show you. Okay, so these are my Charles Dickens books. All of the ones on the left I am so proud to say that I have read, and then this one, I can't believe I haven't read that one. But anyway, first up I have A Christmas Carol. Love this one so much. I think it's one of his best works, honestly. Highly recommend. And then these, I have been reading him for years in order, chronological order of when he was published. First novel, which is The Pickwick Papers. This was like just a very interesting time. This is highly serialized, and man, does this man like to write words. The rest of these are just like hitting the chunk alert 1000%. We have Nicholas Nickleby. Again, I just really like the worn Oxfords. They get so soft, and I just really like them that way. Anyway, as you can see by the tabs, my enjoyment and interest waned like halfway through. Like I said, this is not a favorite Dickens, but I'll probably reread all of these at some point in my life. Next, we have Barnaby Rudge. This is a very interesting piece of history because this is about the anti-Catholic Gordon riots in England, and just a very cool history lesson, really. And this one I don't like, it's meh, it's in the middle. However, this next one is actually a favorite Dickens of mine, and that is Dombey and Son. I really like this one. For so many different reasons. It is about a shipping company, but like not really. That's not really what that sounds incredibly boring. And this father who is getting his business ready to hand down to his son. His son is extremely sick. He also has a daughter who he just like thinks nothing of. It's also an extremely nautical book, so there's so many passages of like boats and nautical description and ocean imagery, and I just really loved it. We have the Dickens book that defeated me. I couldn't do it. It's Martin Chuzzlewit. This is the only Dickens book that I've DNF'd. I just could not get to it. This is known as his American novel. If you read this, how are you doing? What did you think of it? I don't know why I couldn't get through it. And then the most recent Dickens that I read is actually David Copperfield, and I can't believe that this was not a favorite Dickens of mine. I just did not really get into it. I don't know if it was because I was so burnt out on this author by this point, but yeah, I will definitely reread this, but this does not make it to my top favorite Dickens, definitely. Even though it is quite similar to David Copperfield, but this one is one of my favorites, and that's Oliver Twist. I just feel like you can feel his anger. This is a lot about the workhouse, the appalling conditions that people who just really badly needed a job or shelter went through, including obviously orphans, women, just everyone. It was, I don't know, really loved it. And then the other Dickens book that I own but I haven't read is A Tale of Two Cities. These are the really beautiful Penguin English library editions. Can't believe I haven't read this one, but this is one of his later published works, so that is why. Okay, hi. This is such a funny angle, but I didn't know where else to put you. You're currently on the top of my bookshelf. I only have my classics sorted into a few editions before they just get completely miscellaneous, because most of my classics, I think I've still got thrifted through the years. Why are you like shaking so bad? The first one here, I think they should be organized alphabetically, is Egil's Saga. We have The Lay of Marie de France, very nice. 3 restoration comedies. This is the classic from my shelf, so I probably want to read the most, honestly. This is the Poetics of Space. This looks so interesting. Yeah, I've heard that so many people who take architecture at school, like this is one of the books that they have to read for their course. This just looks so incredibly cool. We have Callocane by Karen Boyad, and this is kind of like 1984, I've heard, compared to Lord Jim by Joseph Conrad. I do really like the Penguin. Honestly, the font is like not my favorite thing to ever exist in the world, but yeah, I do like them. One of my favorites from the shelf, The Posthumous Memoirs of Bras Cubas. This is so good. What is this? I'm gonna regret messing all of these up later. I had been taking a break from Dostoevsky after reading The Brothers Karamazov, but I would really like to get back into reading his works pretty soon, so this one is The Idiot. We have The Lady of the Camellias. This is one of my favorite classics I've read so far this year, and probably literally ever. It is James Joyce's The Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. I just love this so much. Love this so much. Another fave is The Haunting of Hill House. Highly recommend. This book, I think this is one of the last classics I bought last year, is Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. I started reading, I started reading Steppenwolf last year. I just put it down for a little bit and I never returned to it, so I don't know if I should pick this one up or keep going with Steppenwolf. Ruth Hall by Fanny Fern. The last one on the shelf is In the Land of Time by Laura Dunsany. This one looks insane. Look at this. Okay, so in bad news, you're currently duct taped to my ceiling, literally holding you hostage to make you look at my classic literature. Yeah, I have 2 of these little Penguin classics. I don't know if I actually like these too much. Anyway, I have Tolstoy's How Much Land Does a Man Need? And Mary Shelley's Matilda. This is the rest of my Penguin classics, Black Spine classics. Phantom of the Opera. Oh my god, I am a fan. Screw the alphabet. We have Steinbeck's The Winter of Our Discontent. These 3 right here, let's just get the rest of the Tolstoys out of the way. So we have the first novel that he wrote, which is Childhood, Boyhood, Youth, very autobiographical. I actually really like this, and I have such fond memories of reading this book. We have The Cossacks and Other Stories, and we also have The Death of Ivan Ilyich and Other Stories. This is The Symposium by Plato. Ooh, we have another Roman. We have Sallust, which is Catiline's War. This one here is Fathers and Sons by Turgenev. I have only read so far First Love by him. I don't know why I keep putting this off. Is Devil on the Cross by Ngugi wa Thiong'o. I keep putting this on book club polls for my World Tour book club. Sadly, it keeps losing to other things, but like only by just. So I just need to read this for myself and just, oh my god, it looks so good. This is one of the older Penguin classics. I have Beowulf. I really love this cover, and I really love Beowulf. I would kind of like to get the Tolkien translation, actually. And this one is, oh god, wait, this one is actually not a Penguin classic. This is a weird as hell copy of The Italian by Anne Radcliffe. This is the Wordsworth editions. What is that? I hope they paid this model so much money. What in the Assassin's Creed? The first book here now is this poor battered, what happened to this? I spilled something on it or something. This is The Snow Leopard by Peter Matheson. I read this last year as well. Really enjoyed this. This is a piece of nonfiction and his journey up to the Himalayas, and it's just Really interesting. Sigrid Undset's trilogy. It's the first in the trilogy. It's The Wreath in the series Kristin Lavransdatter. Chunk alert. We have The Fairy Queen by Edmund Spenser. Don't kid yourself, kids. I haven't read the whole thing. Only the bits and bobs that I had to for the English Lit course that was on. We have The Turnip Princess and Other Newly Discovered Fairy Tales. These are a bunch of German fairy tales. Okay. Italian Journey by Goethe, because the only thing you can do when you're having an existential crisis is F off to Italy. We have Depression in a little tiny book. It's Ethan Frome by Edith Wharton. Bad time to own a toboggan. We have A Vindication of the Rights of Women by, it's not Mary Shelley, it's her mother. The Great Novel of the Philippines, which I'm so sad to tell you, was this in my first classic collection? Still have not got around to this. So sad. Let's finish the penguins actually. We have The Story of the Stone, Volume 1. We have the only Pushkin I've read so far. Oh, someone has chewed this. I think it must have been Kelsver. Do you see the chew marks? I really liked reading this. Highly recommend reading this in the winter. And these two right here are actually Wordsworth editions. I love these editions so much because they get, guys, the softness. This copy, Emma by Jane Austen, this is the softest book that I own. The pages are just so incredible. It's like a feather. It's like you'll want to sleep on it. The other Wordsworth classic that I have here is Anna Karenina by Tolstoy. And this again, I love how yellow the pages are going. I love how old it looks. Yeah, they don't make them like this anymore. Technical difficulties I think have been overcome. We fixed the problem with the mic. We're back in business. I have just pulled down my it's a sizable stack of the Arcturus editions of classics. If you don't know what I'm talking about, they're the ones that look like this. Let me put this over here. So this is The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. These are I hate these editions. I never want to read out of them. The amount of dust that is on Mr. Wilkie is just so sad because I bought most of these. And here's the thing, if you're getting into classics for the first time, absolutely go for these. They are so good because they're so affordable. These are the ones that I always see them at Chapters, for example, for 3 for $10. Such a deal for books, and books are so expensive. So absolutely read them. For me, now that I've read most of the ones that I own, but I just really can't stand them. I really can't stand them. I don't know why. These are the budget friendly classics, and they really do feel like it. And it's a shame because I actually like the cover design. They choose something new and exciting and fun for every color, which is so fun. So this is De Profundis by Oscar Wilde, but we're going to be going through these, and also I'm going to be going through them to see if there's anything that I just want to purge. I would like to slowly replace every single Arcturus edition I own with something else. Don't care what it is, as long as it's not Arcturus. I don't like the font. I don't like the paper thickness. I don't like the paper that they use in general. They discolor really easily, and the font is it's not it. And on top of that, if it's in translation or if it's, I don't know, they just always use the oldest, what is it called? Free use editions. Years ago, I was in love with these editions because I could actually bring them home with me, and that was really exciting. So I have De Profundis by Oscar Wilde, The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. My copy of The Picture of Dorian Gray is sadly in the Arcturus edition. It's also got this mysterious splodge on it. I don't know. This is literally what's been putting me off rereading Dorian Gray, because I know that it's this copy, and I'm Emma, just get another copy. But I would like to kind of do it thrifted, go out and thrift all the editions of the Arcturus books that I have so I can swap them. I have Beyond Good and Evil. Look at this cover. This cover's so cool. This cover's so nice. Okay, we have the Lovecraft Compendium. I have another edition of Lovecraft stories also in the Arcturus. That edition is the hardback copy, so I think this might go. Oh, we're doing it. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I'm gonna keep this one. Kelsver is right. Kelsver is the cameraman. It's Kelsver the cameraman. He's right behind you, directing. Another fave is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. Which one do I like more? I still feel like I like The Haunting of Hill House more. I don't know. I love this cover though. I love how they're inside the cat. And I think these are these the older Arcturus editions? I have The Great Gatsby. Frankly, I just want to let this go. I don't know why, that stuff I'm so into. I'm not really too bothered about cover design, but it's really the contents that matter to me, when I'm reading a book, because the font for me really affects the mood of the novel. I don't know if that makes any sense. Certain fonts take on different moods and colors for me. So when it's off, for very subjectively, it's very affecting. It's very affecting. And I love the study of fonts and text size even. I think it's fascinating. So this is The Great Gatsby. We have Classic Tales of Horror by Edgar Allan Poe, The Prince by Machiavelli, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. Love this color combo of The Professor by Charlotte Bronte. Scandalous, absolutely scandalous. Not really. It's about a professor who falls in love with like one of his students, I guess, but it's like 1846. It's based on the author's own experiences as a language student in Belgium. We have Madame Bovary by Flaubert. I'm pretty sure like this edition made me hate the classic. You know, I don't know, it's just sus to me. Like, who translated this? Why don't you tell me? Why don't you tell me? Forgot to show you this in my Dickens collection, but I also have the Old Curiosity Shop. Completely forgot about this book. Yeah, I really have completely forgot about this book. I've also read this one. This is not a favorite. And like, ooh, we're getting some age spots. That's cute. And they never smell good. That is the Arcturus collection. I'm glad we got rid of one of them, at least. Fancy meeting you up here. Before I get comments, it's a cat stroller. On this shelf, this one right here, I have the rest of my Penguin editions. I think these, except for like a few Penguin Deluxe, which like just don't really fit in well with my other Penguins. These are the Penguin Modern Classics, and then I also have the Penguin English Library editions. Small Town in Germany by Jean le Carré. Next we have Wide Sargasso Sea by Jean Rhys. I had to read this for university. Fantastic novelist. This one is like a reimagining of The Mad Woman in the Attic from Jane Eyre, if that's appealing to you. Once There Was a War by John Steinbeck. I hesitate to call it non-fiction. It's very little bit propaganda-y. This is writings about the Second World War. Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. So good. Oh, I should mention that there is one missing from here, which is East of Eden by Steinbeck, which I'm currently reading, really enjoying. I'm about a little over 200 pages through East of Eden right now. Wow. Clockwork Orange. I almost said by Anthony Bourdain. Queer by William S. Burroughs. Then we have An Imposter, is The Cocktail Party by T.S. Eliot. We have one that I'm just like biting at the chomping at the bit, and that is Ice by Anna Kavan. Oh my goodness. An older edition of the Modern Classics. This is On the Road by Jack Kerouac. I first met Dean not long after my wife and I split up. Yeah, this cover. We have D.H. Lawrence's Lady Chatterley's Lover. This is also the older Penguin. Oh, Penguin 20th Century Classics is about Constance, who is married to this man. She's not like having the most robust marital life. She's not having the biggest bedchamber life of her life. And this hot new bombshell enters the villa, aka their new gamekeeper. Have the woman herself, Clarice Lispector's Hour of the Star. Then we have The Crucible by Arthur Miller. I still haven't read this play. I would really like to. We have my favorite Rhys that I've read so far, which is Good Morning Midnight. I did like half of my undergrad thesis on this, half of one of the research papers on Good Morning Midnight. This is so depression. Then we have The Tunnel by Sabato. I haven't read this one. I've heard this is so scary, so creepy. This is one of the greatest things I own. This is Season of Migration to the North. Look at this. Look, I don't think I had this when I did my, oh my god, that was my whole collarbone. Did you hear that? I don't think I had this when I did my classics collection last, so like, what, mega recommend. We have Early Poems by Edna St. Vincent Millay. We were tired, we were weary, we'd gone back and forth all night on the ferry or something like that. That's like what I remember most. Some more Ice with The Ice Palace by Tari Besos. This is so good, so good. Favorite author portrait by far. Look at that. Cat wrote this book. The Birds by the same author. I have not read this one yet. Line and Fall. I have 2 books on my shelf by this author. I have Brideshead Revisited. I haven't read either. I feel like I'm kind of saving Brideshead Revisited for when I'm back in school. Chess by Spike. So good. So good. Write this down. These are the Penguin English Library editions. What are my thoughts on these? I do quite like these. The only thing is that like they're not robust. Like they are gonna bend. They are gonna get just like beaten up. They're just gonna get beaten up. They're not very durable, honestly, especially the front cover. Like I really am a fan of the like what's kind of on the inside, but honestly like they're just not durable. at all, which is a shame, like compared to the Oxfords and the Black Spine Penguins, but I still really love them, and I do really like the covers on some of them. So Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, love. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Yeah, I haven't read this in a long time, and I haven't read it out of this edition yet, but I have this one. Have a Room with a View by E.M. Forster. I did really like this. If you're going to like Italy this summer, if you're traveling, I feel like this is a great travel book. It's also very short, very tiny. It is about Lucy Honeychurch, who goes to Italy and she meets a man. Crazy. Dracula. This, I'm not sure if I like this cover. They kind of look like paper clips to me. Interesting. And what use does a vampire have for paper clips? I don't know. Does he pay his taxes? He actually doesn't, and that's actually a lot of what this is about. Count Dracula doesn't pay his damn taxes, and he's leeching off the poor peasants of his village where he like rules above them supreme. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. I only have this because I had to read this for a university course, otherwise I would just plainly just not be interested in it at all. I don't know if Mark Twain is for me or not, because this is the only thing I've read by him. But yeah, that is that guy. I have One Virginia. I don't like this cover actually. Yeah, I don't like these colors. Anyway, we have To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. I don't know why I'm just giving you my entirely unsolicited opinion on every cover, but anyway, I haven't read this one yet, but yeah, this one also centers around a family holiday, so you know. The last like 3 penguins I have here, I have 2 of the big ideas, great ideas. They're called great ideas. So we have Conspicuous Consumption by Thorstein Veblen. I read this, and is this satire? It is satire. Its subtitle is Unproductive Consumption of Goods is Honorable. God is Dead. I don't know what this cover is. I don't know. By Nietzsche, which I haven't read yet. Penguin I have here is one of their like penguin modern, what is this? I don't know what these are called. They're just the tinies, the itty bitties. I have The Legend of the Sleepers, which I've also read. I didn't have large thoughts about this, so this was just okay. I have former books on the shelf, so these are the last editions I keep together just for some reason. These are the Barnes & Noble classics, and these have all either been like gifts or thrifted because we do not have Barnes north of the border. We have the collected poetry of Emily Dickinson. Honestly, I don't like these. Just look textbook to me. It's giving textbook. And we have King Solomon's Mines. I got this one in a book box, like in a subscription box that was kindly sent over to me, and I have not yet read this one. Finally, we have The Good Soldier by Ford Madox Ford, which I haven't yet read. And the last book on this shelf is where we start my classics just alphabetically with Dante. Dante is not his last name, as I think 12-year-old me was very shocked to learn. So this is the translation by Robert Pinsky of The Inferno. I read this and it was just like very interesting, very fun. I dropped the mic. I'm sorry. The investment in a wireless mic is coming. I've just taken these classics down from this shelf right here because I can't reach it. And yeah, I kind of want to see if there's anything I don't want in these anymore. These are just so random. Like most of these, they've come from interesting places, homes where they were no longer wanted, and they've made it to my shelf. I really do feel like I'm your safari guide. These are out of order now, but let's start. So I have two more Machado books. We have short stories and short stories, except this one must be better because it has 26 of them. I love this cover. I really like this cover. I don't know how much overlap there are between these because this whole collection I've read. This is The Alienist and Other Stories, and then I'm assuming they're repeated a little bit. So actually what I'm gonna do after this is check if like all of the ones that are in here or like vice versa. Those are those two. These were both gifts. Thank you guys so much. One Agatha, no, that's not true. Oh shoot. Yeah, I have one classic that's not where it's supposed to be, but we're just not gonna talk about that. This is the only Agatha Christie that I have left that's in the classic section because I have one hardcover. This is a collection of hers. These are fireside tales, so it's supposed to be like wintry tales, which I love. So far, I've only read the first one in here, I think, which is the Three Blind Mice. This is The Awakening by Kishoba. I don't like the premiere classics. What is so premiere about this? They all look like this. They've all taken this like photo and they've like sepia toned it and then they just cross the title across, and I hate this design. I don't like it. I don't like reading out of them. I don't don't like these editions. That's my personal opinion. Anyway, I have read this. This was my first Kate, I think, and I really enjoyed it. This is perfect. This is a perfect summer book. War with the Newts. This was a gift. Thank you so much. And I haven't read this one. Exactly, there's even a note in here that says humans versus newts, what more could you need? This chapter is called Captain J. Van Tok and His Trained Lizards. It smells like the secretary office at like elementary school. We've discovered a colony of highly intelligent giant salamanders. Gigamanders? I have read a book actually with, it's like fantasy creatures called, was it Gigamanders? Part of a dog, which was gifted to me because I think I won a bet or something with Carolyn. I won a contest with Carolyn, so she sent me Heart of a Dog because I wanted to read this for so long. This is whack. This is whack. This needs to go like so badly. Like, what is emreads.business? This is like someone in their backyard made this. This is the complete poems of Emily Bronte, and they did, where's the accent? She wrote 2 complete notebooks of poetry, which were discovered by her sister. Hate when that happens. This is definitely a dodgy copy that I got off of Amazon years ago. Then we have one of the older Wordsworth classics again. This is The Tenant of Widefell Hall. I totally got this thrifted. This is tragic. I should probably try to remove that with like hot water and soap or something. What is your secret? What is your guys' secret for removing these? Oh, kind of smells like gasoline. Sonnets from the Portuguese and Other Poems by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. This looks like my grandma's couch, but I have read this. These are the Dover thrift editions. But yeah, I have read these and I really do like them and I recommend. Did I already show you this? The Jane Austen, The Pride and Prejudice. This is another Barnes & Noble, but this is the mass market Barnes & Noble. Yeah, I don't really want to read Pride and Prejudice out of this anymore, to be honest. I've already read it. I think Pride and Prejudice is my favorite Austen. I think I'm just, you know, I'm just like everyone else. We have this wonderful copy of Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I read this for the first time last year. Really like this. If you're wondering why it's so large, someone commented, I think somewhere, that they thought my edition had both Little Women and Good Wives. It doesn't. This is just Little Women. It's just Little Women, and it's somehow like 800 pages. But to be fair, the font is pretty large and it's short pages, obviously. I loved Little Women. I don't know why I thought that I didn't want to read Little Women, because I loved it. So good. Like, there's things I don't like about it, obviously, but highly, highly recommend. It is just like, it's comforting, it's nice, it's addictive, it's so sad. Then we have this beautiful copy of The Journey to the West. This is translated by Anthony C.U. I really, really am so interested to get into this one. I haven't read this one yet. I have 2 Yasunari Kawabatas. I have Snow Country, which I read, and The Master of Go, which I have not yet read. Ooh, this one has like freckles. This one has freckles on the spine. Then we have one of my favorite classics. It's The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. I remember reading Turn of the Screw so vividly. It was such a good time. Highly recommend this. This is the Elma Classics edition. The cover's very buttery. This is the Modern Library edition of Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass and Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl by Frederick Douglass and Harriet Jacobs. Have I read both of these? I'm pretty sure I've just read Frederick Douglass's Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. This is in the Signet Classics. No. I've only listened to the audio of Crime and Punishment, actually, which I just cannot wait to read it again. This is another one that I would like to swap out for something if I find a different copy thrifted, because I'm just not a mass market paperback person. I love this edition of Dostoevsky. This is the Wordsworth Classics. I guess they've upgraded. They've upgraded. Look how far they've come. So beautiful. I love the foiling. I don't know. I love when the cover material is like kind of like feels like cardboardy. I don't know. I really enjoy that. But yeah, this is Notes from the Underground and other Notes from Underground. Sorry, I always say Notes from the Underground, but it's notes like literally from underground. The big, beautiful, my favorite Dostoevsky so far, you have The Brothers Karamazov. Oh my God. I really want to read this again. I feel like not enough time has passed for me to read it again, but that's okay. I can't believe I found this in a book box. I really like this copy. It is quite battered, but like under the dust jacket is really nice too. This is the North Point Press edition. I really, really love this one. Oh no, he got separated. We have another Machado. This one is Dom Casmurro. I really like this cover. I really like this cover. This one I have started and I put it down and I started again and I put it down. I just like, I kind of want to have a clean slate, like a clean plate, I mean, when I start this, so I'm not like reading anything else while trying to read this one, because the posthumous memoirs, which I showed before, that was so good. And I would have liked to spend, like, I can't read it again for the first time, but I can read it again. But I just want to spend so much more time with it, I think. So I'm like continuously waiting for the perfect moment, which is not very good of me. But I have 7 Gothic Tales by Isaac Dinesen, or Karen Blixen, I think is her name. This is her name. So far I've only read 1. This was for university. This is my introduction to this author. I love her. I love her. Why have I not met her before? Why haven't we talked before? The one in here that I read was The Old Chevalier. Oh my goodness. So spooky, so wonderful, and her writing was just like delicious. Actually, I have another edition. This one is the Selected Poems of Emily Dickinson. This one looks like a notebook. It looks like I'm gonna open it and there's nothing there, but there's much to be discovered. This one I love so much more. Maybe I can like get rid of the Barnes & Noble one, like donate that, and then obviously keep this one. Then we have this shelf. This shelf has some gems. Okay, so first up we have The Count of Monte Cristo. I love this book so much. I love this book so much. Highly recommend that you read this. This like was fantastic, and this actually made me like these editions. These are the Penguin clothbound. These are the Penguin clothbounds. I actually really like these now. We have Middlemarch by George Eliot. This is the like cool Penguin drop caps edition. I don't know, it looks a little bit too much like Home Sense decor for me, honestly. That's okay. Copy of T.S. Eliot's collected poems. This one I got for uni. It's a cool edition of The Beautiful and Damned by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I have like multiple F. Scotts, but I've only read The Great Gatsby. I have Tender is the Night as well. Maurice by Anne Forster. I think I preferred A Room with a View. The Road Not Taken, which I think was like one of the poetry collections I asked for Christmas or something. Yeah. Oh, this is from my grandma. Thank you, Grandma. She gave this to me in 2014. I read this and love. Westwood by Stella Gibbons. I haven't read this yet. The Gibran collection, which is all of these guys. So I have The Broken Wings, The Prophet, and then all of these, which are various little collections of like his thoughts and meditations, a self-portrait. Yeah, so I haven't read any of these, but I've read both of these. Really like, this is the only William Golding I've read. This was on a uni syllabus. It's okay. This cover is cool. Of Gogol, which so far I've only read The Overcoat, which was, wow, so haunting. I have Mysteries. This is my edition of Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. It's so spooky. This is The Blind Owl. This book was like the bane of my existence for the American Lit course I took, The Scarlet Letter. I don't know why I struggled so hard. I really don't know why. I just really did not like this. Little Hemingway collection. Oh my gosh. I got to Hemingway like pretty relatively late in my like classics reading journey, whatever. But man, I've read these two. Actually, my first Hemingway was A Movable Feast. I think this is my only edition of this. This is so cool. These are the the season editions of, wait, who's actually the publisher? Thomas Nelson. This is the spring. It's spring. But yeah, I have not read any Victor Hugo. What the hell? And they only make so many. So this is book 6,522 of 10,000. This has been put off. I've put this off for too long. I've put this off for far too long. We have The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Other Stories. This is like migraine material. I don't know why I look like I want to carry around like a dollar store notebook, but I found this thrifted somewhere, like literally the summer that I started my booktube channel, and I still haven't read it. We have Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. I read this for uni. This was really good. I think it's time for a reread. I only have 2 more shelves to show you, this one and this one. This one is honestly the shelf, except for like a couple where I try not to look at it. I try to avert my gaze from it. It's right behind me, isn't it? It's this one. It's Moby Dick. I can like literally smell from like here. Okay, it's like, I don't know what's happening. Are you rotting? Do you like this edition? I can't believe this was $2. What are these called? Oh, these are the International Collectors Library editions. I I feel like over the years I've stopped doing this on my books because I got too many people yelling at me in the comments to like stop tapping on my books. Okay, I do it when the camera's not on. This one goes with like illustrations and such. Oh, it's abridged? Oh shoot. This is the unabridged have. I feel like the unabridged edition, he describes like every piece of every part of the ship and how it's made by Herman Melville. It's Rudyard Kipling's poems. I love this edition as well. This is such a gorgeous copy. Look at that. I have never read Rudyard Kipling. Do you like Kipling? Sure, I'll eat anything. This is the Folio Society edition. I love Folio Society. Ones I've been avoiding on here is Kafka, it's The Metamorphosis, and other stories. I've never read Kafka, but I have Death in Venice by Thomas Mann. I just read my first Thomas Mann this year, which was The Magic Mountain. Oh, wait, why aren't you guys together? Loved Magic Mountain, so now I'm very excited to read more Magic Man. And then we have a very downgraded Phantom of the Opera collection. If you watched my bookshelf tours in the past, I used to have I still have it, okay, I still have it, but I used to have like a massive Phantom of the Opera collection on my shelf because this is one of my favorite books of all time. I just love this thing to bits and pieces. So I only left myself like a couple. This one looks like Cinderella. I just like this one because it's like Cinderella, but it's not, it's Phantom of the Opera. Oh my god, the camera's been over here the whole time. I left myself 2 copies of it, and then I also have the Gaston Leroux Bedside Companion. Thank you, Michael, if you're still watching these videos. I just look at it, the original cover. Maybe you can just come in closer because the rest of these, like this is my Shakespeare collection, and I think I've read almost every single one of these, which I'm really proud of. I took like a Shakespeare course at uni, so I've read Richard III, aka Richard III. I've obviously read Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, King Lear, Taming of the Shrew, Richard II. Measure for Measure actually surprised me. I liked that one a lot. A Midsummer Night's Dream is actually not a fave shaky of mine. Sorry, William. Twelfth Night is not a fave of mine. Neither is The Merchant of Venice. Macbeth, loved. And then on top here, I have the Pan Macmillan editions of Julius Caesar, love. And then As You Like It, I actually really liked As You Like It. It was As I Liked It. Othello, I haven't read, and neither have I read Titus Andronicus. So these two I found thrifted like decently recently, and I really want to get to both of them. Probably Othello first, honestly, but. So this is my last collection of classics, like alphabetically, this is where it ends. Look, we've got Little Janie, The Magic Mountain, Paradise Lost. The shelf is like a banger, honestly. 1984, another 5-star read. Yeah, The Bell Jar. This is the hardcover Arcturus editions. Love when they put quotes. I think we should put more quotes on covers. I really like that. This one says, I thought the most beautiful thing in the world must be shadow. Then we have this hideous edition of a gorgeous work, which is Prometheus Unbound by Percy Bysshe Shelley. This is a play. Wow, the lines in here, and like the government of it all, damn. Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I read this just like couple years ago. Wow, like seriously, wow. Little collection. I think this is the Everyman's Library Pocket Poets. This Percy Bysshe Shelley's collection of poetry. I've read that. Hannah Rowe, young marine biologist who ministers to sick puppies and unhappy souls unexpectedly finds true love. Gorgeous edition of Rock Crystal by Adelbert Stifter. I really want to read this. This is like a little fable of 2 kids on Christmas Eve who get lost on a glacier. This really cool hardcover of Henry David Thoreau's natural history essays. I've read a few pieces of his from like textbooks and stuff that I've had, but that's my first Thoreau book. See, this is the Kreutzer Sonata, which I have in the Oxfords, but this one has other stories in it. Candide by Voltaire. Very green edition of The Island of Dr. Moreau. This is another Dover thrift editions. I really like this book. This is by H.G. Wells. This is my favorite H.G. Wells that I've read. He's not like a fave author, but I do really like the mad scientist vibes in that one. Little copy of Selected Poetry by Yeats. This I got for uni. I have this big edition of Leaves of Grass. This is another Arcturus edition by Walt Whitman. It came with a little note because I got it out of a book box. It says, this book is offered to you for free as a way for me and others to share our love of reading with people in our community or across the world. And out of order, we hit the Oscar Wilde. Ladies and gentlemen, the Oscars. The Happy Prince and Other Fairy Tales. Look at this. This is a mysterious little book. Copies of his plays, which I read. We have Lady Windermere's Fan and Salome, or Salome. I've been saying Salome the whole time. Uncensored version that I have of Dorian Gray. I haven't read it yet. I'm very curious to see what they censored. Letters of Oscar Wilde. This is both funny and painful. Come to the last of my Virginia Wolves. Jacob's Room, which I haven't read. We have Orlando, which is my favorite Virginia Woolf, highly recommend. We have Mrs. Dalloway on here, another one I haven't read, The Waves. I really like this edition. What is this? This is the Mariner edition. I really like this one. My Rilke collection starts, so he is like the last book on the shelf. Yeah, this one is in German. Do I speak German? 9. So that is my classics collection. It has grown. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got some recommendations. Been building this piece by piece, brick by brick, since I was pretty young. So yeah, and this makes me very excited to see all the ones I have like yet ahead of me to read and stuff I have to revisit, like old friends. If you made it all the way to the end, can you please leave your like top 3? Leave your top 3 favorite classics below in the comments. I would love to read through them. Would love to see if I have them so that I can get to them ASAP, or if I should get some more. Ciao.